Hey everybody, thank you so much for coming to watch this video. I looked on my channel and I saw that I had a lot of well, not a lot, but almost 100 people who have subscribed to my channel. I don't know if you're real people or if it's just spam messages coming to me, but I just figured that in this video it's time for me to start showing my face. I thought a really long time about whether or not I should do it, and why not do it? Why not do it? I do a lot of videos and I tell you about my experience abroad as a targeted individual, but I kind of felt like you seeing my face will allow you to maybe empathize with me more or relate to me more, because I feel like it's a necessary thing for me to do for other people out there who are targeted individuals. You know, I think that the reason why I finally got courage was because I've been in this situation for about 10 years and things continue to happen that are not good in my life as a result of constantly being tracked. And I think that someone has more credibility whenever they show their face. So that's why I'm doing it. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about how I became a targeted individual. So here we go. In the year of 2012, I was a student at the University of San Francisco. I was getting ready to complete my last year of studies. I had finished my junior year and I had decided to stay in San Francisco and do summer school. And, you know, I didn't want to go back home. My family was living in Arkansas. And I just didn't want to be bored during the summer. In San Francisco, the weather was nice during the summer. The university wasn't packed, so I could have a room to myself. I could go out in the city and enjoy, and I could also not be stressed out with taking a full course load like I would be during the normal semester. So that's the reason why I wanted to go to school in the summer. And ironically, my grades always were better when I would go to school in the summer, and I knew that that would be the case this time around. So what I did is I enrolled in summer courses, and to make a long story short, my financial aid did take care of everything financially that needed to be taken care of for the summer. And there was a problem. It came out of nowhere. There was a problem with my financial aid. I had the Parent Plus loan, and though it was approved for the 2011-2012 academic year, the loan messed up, and it was no longer approved for me to be able to go during the summer term, even though the lady who worked in the financial aid office said that my Parent Plus loan took care of the summer term. Now, in hindsight, I know what the reason why it wasn't taken care of in the summer. It's because the individuals who tracked me and who tracked my mother and who tracked my aunt, they got in contact with the financial aid office and told them to change my information. You know, it probably came in the form of financial benefit for the University of San Francisco, or for the specific employees who went into the system and changed information that should have never been changed. So, yeah, that was during my last year of school. My mother's credit wasn't approved, even though she didn't have any credit problems, and even though her credit was higher my last year of college than it was the previous year when I was approved for the Parent Plus loan. So, yeah, that's what they did, and even to this day, 10 years later, I remain without a degree. I don't have a degree because of them messing with my mother's credit score and doing something in the credit report that resulted in me not being able to have enough money to be able to take care of the tuition at the University of San Francisco my last year. My grades were good. I had hopes of going to graduate school. And you know what they say? They say that the individuals who do this to us, who are targeted, they do this, they study us before they start to harass us and bring us down with all the electronic harassment that they do. And yeah, they studied me. They knew that my grades were good. They knew that I wanted to go to graduate school abroad. They knew that I had done a lot of internships, and they knew that if I continued to stay in the University of San Francisco, my grades would be good, and I wouldn't be kicked out because of poor grades. So they knew that they had to intervene, and that's why they stopped my studies from the financial angle. I've been in this situation for next year will make 1 decade. It's been very tough. A lot of things have happened. My aunt died because of this entire thing that's going on. And I'm currently living out of the US because it's no longer safe for me to live in the United States. You know, a lot of people think that I travel around the world and it's fun and I'm having the time of my life. But this is a life or death thing for me. This is the reason why I'm traveling outside of the United States full time, because if I go back to the US, I will be in danger. The American police harassed me in Chicago. It made me so afraid to go outside. I stopped going outside. It was like 1 year without me going outside or going anywhere alone. I was even afraid to go to the airport alone when I wanted to relocate and leave Chicago, and go to a job interview in Los Angeles or in San Francisco. You know, a lot of things have happened, and when you're targeted and when you're black, the police, they're not your friend. They are in it with the government. This started when my mom was in the United States Navy. She was based in Little Rock at Camp Robinson. She was in the Navy. Prior to that, she was in the Marine Corps. But her tracking started when she was in the Navy. She reported some individuals who were treating her poorly on her job, and they came after her, and then they came after me. They kicked her out of the military even though she did nothing wrong, and they stopped my academic studies. They really tried to mess up our entire lives. And that's the reason why I remain unemployed and my life is not so amazing. Yeah, if you look through my videos, you'll see that what I'm going through is definitely true. I have over 200 videos on this channel, and it's about all of the cities that I've been to and how, you know, I'm constantly being tracked and targeted. And you see how there are helicopters when I'm in Turkey, when I'm in Germany, here in Beirut, Lebanon, many different countries. You see my reality. No one can say that this stuff is not happening. You know, even the devil's advocate has to not agree with the devil on this one. And yeah, it's been happening for a very long time. And I encourage you to look at the videos that I'm going to recommend. If you look in the description, you're going to see some of the videos that I'm adding, and these are going to be the most compelling videos. I'm pretty sure that if you're a targeted individual, you can relate to the things that I'm saying in my videos because you can see it with your eyes. And in most of my videos, I do a very good job at walking you through the things that I have gone through and the things that I continue to go through. Tonight, I was checking out of my hotel in Beirut, Lebanon. It's called Embassy Hotel. And I was trying to go to a different hotel. They know me. They know the style of hotels that I book when I'm abroad. And they know that I don't go for the expensive places. Like, for example, this hotel here in Beirut is $11 a night. There's another hotel that I wanted to go to. It was a little bit more expensive. It was $13 a night. They knew that if I left this hotel, I would definitely be going to the other hotel because it was not only near to this hotel, but it was also very inexpensive and it looked a lot better than most hotels would look that only cost $13 a night. So I left this hotel and it took only like 10 minutes, actually less than 10 minutes to get to the other hotel. When I got there, the young people working at the receptionist desk, there were 3 of them. They knew that I had come. They walked in, instead of giving me a room key and checking me in, what they did is they immediately went to the back office to let the owner know that I had come in. His name at Diplomat Hotel, by the way. His name is Mr. Hussein. I don't know why I'm saying Mr. His name is Hussein. And the general manager's name is Hashim. They were both there. And the thing is, before they even gave me a room, they went back to the back to let him know that I was there before they gave me a room. If you're a receptionist, you know your job responsibilities, you know what rooms you have available, and you know to give a customer a room if they have all of the documents that they need to check in. You know to take their passport information, to take their payment. But I guess I was such a novelty that they didn't even think that they would see right away, until they let me get my bags and they took me up to the room without me even paying. I had to go back to the front desk and actually pay them. To make a long story short, I got in the room. I started to feel sick. I went back downstairs, wanted to change rooms. When I went back downstairs, instead of just giving me another room, they consulted with the owner to see what room they should give me. Usually, okay, if a customer is not pleased with one room, just give them another room. They didn't do this. They would not give me any other room, even on the same floor, even rooms that were the exact same type and the exact same size, until they consulted with the owner first. Then, then after that, I went back downstairs again because the second room was a problem. And when I wanted a room for the third time, I guess they didn't expect me to come back downstairs a third time and to be so bold to let them know that there's a problem with the existing room and that I wanted to change. This time it was only the guy downstairs that looked like he was maybe 21, 22 years old. He would not give me another room until he called the owner first to approve a room, even if it were on the same floor. I asked for a room on a lower floor, which is the fourth floor. He would not give me a room until he called the owner first. In addition to that, there were two customers who came in, and they wanted a room. He put them in front of me and gave them a room without approving it with the owner, and they were walk-ins. They didn't even have a reservation. He just gave them a room and allowed them to go about on their way. But with me, he didn't do that. So I started speaking loud about how they were unprofessional and about how what they were doing was wrong and how I know that they want to put me in a different room to make me sick. And then Hisham came out, who's not the owner but the manager. And I started talking to him, and he got offended because I asked him his name. He should have gotten offended because he knows what he's doing. He knows that he's been paid to gas me out and to poison me in my hotel room, and was offended to know that he's the next thing to the owner, and to know that though that's the case, I have no problem with letting him know the things that he's doing wrong and calling him out for trying to intentionally harm me. He told me that if I didn't like the room, I can leave. And I said, okay, good then. And then he sent the guy up right away on the elevator to help me pack up my stuff and leave. I left the hotel, and here I am back at the same hotel that I left, which is Embassy Hotel. The military is responsible for the tracking that happened to me. And, here at Embassy Hotel, the reason why I originally left is because the professionalism is not here. It's not here because they've been contacted. Every hotel I go to, they contact individuals at that hotel, and they tell them to give me bad customer service. If I ask to change to a different room, don't change me to a different room. They tell them to, don't give me good customer service. Make sure that I let them know if I'm going to check out by 12 o'clock, which is the normal checkout time, ignoring the fact that I've been here for 2 weeks at this hotel, ignoring the fact that I'm the best paying customer that they have, not even allowing anyone to clean my room, even though it hasn't been cleaned in 2 weeks, me having to beg for toilet paper, even if I get one roll of toilet paper every 2 or 3 days, having to beg 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours for a towel, 24 hours for a fresh towel, and having to force them to do the things that they should automatically do. They never come and ask me, is there anything that we can do for you? Can we make your stay better? Can we help you out? They never try to give me a discount for one night or allow me to have a late checkout of 1 o'clock or of 2 o'clock or anything like that, because the military is involved. And I use the military as a blanket term because they're the ones who initiated this targeting with me. I've never been in the military. I've never had enough respect for the military to want to be in the military. But though that's the case, they are all over my life. They've ruined my life, not because of anything that I've done, not because I've blown the whistle, but because of what my mother's done. And I've been paying the price for 10 years as a result of this. And, everywhere I go, at every hotel, the moment I get there, they get a phone call. And by the way, when I returned back to this hotel, wasn't even 10 minutes later, the receptionist, who's the owner, who pretends not to be the owner, he got a phone call from them, and they were giving him instructions, telling him, don't change his room, don't do this kind of stuff. Obviously, I didn't hear what was actually being said, but I know that this is the way they operate, because how would they know not to change my room? And the respect that I get in many different countries is not good, and some people would say, oh, it's because of your race, but I've seen other African American males get more respect than me. The reason why I don't get a lot of respect here is because they've been informed and they know that they don't have to respect me. And they know that here in Beirut, Lebanon, there are not many hotel options for me to choose from. So they know that I'm at their mercy. And because I'm at their mercy, I'll be forced to put up with things that I would not usually put up with, because there are not many options here in Lebanon and in Beirut, because it's a very small country. And there are not many hotels that are under $20 a night. So they understand that they have this at their favor, and they know that they don't have to be good to me and decent to me and professional to me here at this hotel, because they feel that I'll stay anyway. But I just have to trust in God and trust that God will avenge my enemies, and that even though things are unfavorable for me at this point, God has the final say. And if God brought Lebanon down so far because of the financial situation that they're having, I just have to trust that God remains in control, and God will pay back the enemies here at this hotel, meaning the owners and its staff. And they will wish that they had a good customer like me, who was professional, who was friendly, and who treated the room with respect as if it were my own house. They will wish one day that they had a customer like me. And God will not allow them to find a customer like me, because they abused me. Someone who is God-fearing, someone who is Christian, someone who's decent, and who treats everyone with respect. This is the respect I get when all of my life I've devoted time into treating people with dignity. I have no doubt in my mind that the reason why I'm being targeted has something to do, targeted is so heavy, has something to do with the fact that I am Christian and I'm a saint. And the Bible does talk about the persecution of the saints. And I think that this can manifest itself in many different ways. Yes, it's not always about the fact that you read the Bible in the middle of a street and then everyone is against you. 1 week later, you're kicked out of a certain neighborhood because you read the Bible, or because you wear a Jesus t-shirt. You're fired from your job because you say that you're Christian, or things like that. It's not always direct like that. I believe that the persecution of the saints is never the way we think it is. It can manifest itself in many different forms. Because think about it, if you're a true saint of God, there are many, many things that you have that a lot of other people don't have. You have the gift of prophecy. You have the gift of long-suffering. You have the gift of being resilient. The gift of upholding ethics. The gift of treating people the way they want to be treated and the way they should be treated, even when they are wrong to you. This is what a true saint is. Someone who is a trendsetter for ethics. Someone who does not change with the change of the time. Even though the world may get worse, you and your Christianly values or your godly values, you stay the same. You stay strong. You stay resilient. You stay optimistic. You remain able to see the cup halfway full, regardless of what you're going through in life. You're not someone who allows your difficult life circumstances to dictate how you treat other individuals. There's some people who are hot when they're hot, who treat other people hot when they're hot, and who treat other people cold when they're cold. And I'm not ever one of those people, and quite honestly, I kind of sometimes hate who I am, because even though I've been going through this situation for a very long time, I remain very friendly to everyone. And a lot of people hate me until they are ever put in a position where they're able to be told something negative about me by the military or by the people in Washington, D.C. or the United States, who call and make those phone calls abroad to wherever I am or wherever my mother is, so that they can poison our reputation and make us seem like bad people. This has been done many, many times. And that's why I'm making this video tonight. I'm going to put my face out there, and I'm going to say to you right now and to everyone watching this video, they have been trying to kill me, my mother, and my aunt for many years. My aunt was in Northwestern Hospital in Chicago, in downtown Chicago. And my aunt died with her 4 children not supporting her, because they thought that everything she was saying was fake. They thought that she was crazy. They thought that her old age was getting the best of her. They think that I'm crazy. They think that my mother's crazy. They don't take us seriously. They don't have respect for us. So even though we've told them about our reality, being targeted individuals, they don't believe it. They don't believe anything that we say because they think that they know better. They see us as weak individuals in the family, not knowing that we're some of the strongest individuals in the family. We're some of the most capable people who can think outside of the box. We are the individuals who are targeted not because we're easy, but because we're difficult. We can't be put in a box. We can't be molded and shaped easily based on the words that other people feed into our spirits so that we act the way society wants us to act, or so that we act the way people who are pulling the strings of our environment want us to act. We're individualistic people, and that individualistic nature that we have as a part of who we are, that's what makes us strong, and that's what the government doesn't want. You know, the government wants everyone who behaves the same. That's why there's a such thing called pop culture. When pop culture exists, it's in existence to make it seem chic and good and trendy for everyone to behave the same. It's in pop culture to make you seem as if you're an oddball and weird and bizarre if you don't behave the way everyone else is behaving. Behaving like everyone else is not necessarily seen as the way it should be seen. It's not seen as you being above the more advanced than the average. You're not seen as someone who is able to think effectively, therefore you have a higher perspective that is on a higher dimension. No. When you don't do what everyone else in society wants you to do, you are perceived to be someone who is behind the curve. You're perceived to be someone who is not capable of blending in and getting along and doing the things that you need to do to be effective in society. You're seen as someone who just doesn't know what they're doing, because if you knew what you were doing, you would do what everyone else does. Thinking outside of the box is something that is not seen in a good light. Even in American society, a society that used to, in the past, praise those individuals who are individualistic. That is not something that is going on now, because now we're on the brink of a new world order. We're on the brink of the government wanting to force its plans upon all members of society in such a way that thinking for yourself generates scorn, not from high up people in the government, but also from people who are on your level and even people who are below your level. When you don't think with the masses and think on the same wavelength as the people who are followers and not leaders, you're perceived to be a problem of society. You're perceived to be contaminated. And that's the way I am, When I look at my individual as a child of God, even though, I've had many days where I just look at God and say, man, wow. I would have been so much farther along if I did not live the way that a Christian should live, I look at that. But at the same time, I don't even remember what I'm saying. There's so many thoughts going through my head. There's so many thoughts. Oh, this is what I was going to say. I remember now. The Bible says that there are none righteous, no, not one. And that's so true. Regardless of what country I go to, everyone is willing to take money to poison me in my hotel room. Whether it be in the United Arab Emirates, whether it be in Bahrain, Oman, Lebanon, Turkey, wherever I am, Vienna, Austria, Berlin, Germany, wherever. It happens everywhere I go. No matter what country I've visited, it's been something that's happened in every country that I've been to. Budapest, Hungary, everywhere, But I am safer abroad than I am in the United States. I am. Things are not... they're not perfect, because there was a time that I did travel abroad before becoming a targeted individual. Those days no longer exist. I'm targeted now. They have my passport details. They have cameras on me all of the time, and that's how they're able to track me when I leave one country and go to the next. I have a phone that doesn't have a removable battery, and that's what enables them to track me regardless of where I go. I have a MacBook. I don't have a removable battery. That's another way that they're able to track me. You know? So there are many things that they do. And the thing is, society, they think that they're sneaky, and they think that they're effective, and that they're more precious in the eyes of the government because they are the informants. They're the guinea pigs, and they don't even know it. The government thinks very little of them. That's why they're not being targeted, and that's why they're not being tracked. The government thinks highly of me. That's why they have thought enough to track me even outside of America. The government thinks highly of my mother. That's why they have been tracking her outside of America. You know, this situation is very real, and it's very sad that, you know, you grew up with your family, and your family's known you all of your life. I'm in my 30s. My mother's in her 50s. My family's known me all of my life. My mother's family has known her all of our life. We're from the same family. My aunt did a great job at raising her 4 children, her 2 boys and her 2 girls. But yet, on her deathbed, none of them were by her side because they didn't think it really mattered, because they considered her to be someone who was not mentally at herself. And whenever my mother and my aunt all held the same story and the same narrative about the things that were going on with us, no one wanted to believe us. No one, and when I say no one, I'm talking about our family. You know, you grew up with these people all of your life, and when there's something that doesn't seem to sound right, all of your credibility is gone. The credibility that you've worked for over 30 years, over 40 years, over 50 years, it goes out the window. And that's really sad. This experience has definitely taught me that family, they're just family, they're blood, but that means nothing. Maybe there's some family members who do believe their children, and who do believe their cousins, their aunts, their uncles, their nieces, their nephews. But that's not the family that I come from, and it's very sad because the people who are targeting me and my mother, they're aware of the family dynamics. They know that we're underrepresented. Actually, not underrepresented, not represented at all. They know these things are our reality. That's why they know that they can continue to do it, and if anything were to happen to us, they would have to fear nothing. No one would ever wonder what happened to Anthony, what happened to Lisa, because our family thinks that we're crazy anyway. And that's very sad, but that's the reality of what a lot of targeted individuals have to deal with. If you're targeted, I encourage you to keep your job. And the reason why is because if you don't have a job, the people who are targeting you will jump all over that incident and that your current reality to make sure that you never get a job. Their goal is to make people think that you're crazy, and if you're unemployed and you haven't been employed for a long time, they will tell people that, this person is not employed anymore because they're crazy. You know, they'll make sure that you stay unemployed because saying that you're crazy is a really valuable thing that they do. And there's a huge stigmatism attached to people who are crazy. You know what I mean? You can walk into a building and no one will give you a chance from the get-go because they've been called and they've been informed that you're crazy by people who are said to be important people, who work for the government, who work for the police department, who work for the fire department, who work as undercover police officers, etc. And who do you think they're going to believe? The person who's the police officer who says that you're crazy and you have a record and you've done this and that wrong? Or do you think they're going to believe you and just look at you and say, this person doesn't look crazy, so they must not be crazy? All common sense goes out the window when these individuals who are in the military and who are police officers and who work for the fire department and other governmental realms, when they call and slander your name in a negative way. Your credibility goes out the window before you can even get it. You know, if you have friends that you've had for a long time or from childhood, keep them close if you can, because they will always be able to vouch for you and know that you are not crazy. You know, I went back to my mother's hometown, which is in Warren. It's in Warren, Arkansas. Very small town. And I think about how my mother went to Bradley County Medical Center, which is the hospital there. There's only one hospital in Warren. I don't even think the city has over 5,000 people. And I remember there was a police officer, and he was walking a folder with a record, into the hospital because they had heard that we were going to the hospital because me and my mother had mentioned it. And yeah, when they knew we were going to the hospital, they beat us to the hospital. And when we were walking past, they thought that they could hear us in the file into the hospital and leave before we even knew that they were there. But we caught them. We went earlier than we were supposed to have gone. And it was a file. And that's when me and my mother discovered that that's how they're able to be effective. They create a fake file about things that you've done wrong, aka a fake rap sheet. And if it's coming from a police officer who's on duty and who comes up to the hospital in his police uniform, in his police car, and he walks personally, hand delivers it to the hospital, of course people are going to think that you're the bad one and the police officer's the credible one. A lot of people have so much trust in the military and in the police department, and also in the fire department, and also in paramedics. And yes, paramedics and fire departments are involved as well, especially the United States military. And again, that's how the situation started with me and my mom. But yeah, people have so much respect and confidence in these entities until they would never in a million years ever think that these people who work for the fire department, the police department, the sheriff's department, or whatever. Oh, and now there's a low-flying plane flying across. If you're new to this, and there are a lot of helicopters that fly across your place of business, your place of work, or across your apartment or house, it's them trying to tap into your system or mess up your computer or do something like that. But anyway, what I was saying is that a lot of people in society, they are unaware of the fact that police officers make this targeting thing such a big part of their plan. And as a result, a lot of people think, oh, they're too busy fighting crime. They would never do the things that you say that they are doing. The military is a respectable branch. They would never take part in doing these crazy things that you say that they do. And, yeah. The reality of the matter is that they do. They do. And society will never believe it, because when we look at movies and we see all of the accomplishments of military heroes that fought in many different wars, it's very difficult to accept the reality that people in the military do these very things. The proof is in plain sight when we look at war crimes, and when we look at many other things that have happened, and when we look at police brutality in the United States. They're human just like we are. And for some, being in the military, working for the fire department, working for the United States Embassy, and yes, I said the United States Embassy, and in another video, I will tell you about my mother's experience at the American Embassy. Well, maybe not. I don't know if I should say that just yet. But a lot of people in society have been convinced through the news and also through the media, meaning movies and documentaries, that the United States military, they're incapable of doing anything wrong, even though they have a heartbeat and an ego just like the rest of us. And whenever there's something that someone may say to challenge their ethics, they will never believe it. They will never believe it, you guys. They'll never believe it. They will never believe it because it's not necessary. Sometimes people don't believe things because it's too uncomfortable to accept that a certain thing is the reality. And other times people don't believe things, firstly, because they look at you and they think that you don't know what you're talking about, because that's very far-fetched. Secondly, it's not only far-fetched, but look at the people who you're accusing. They're in the military. They're fire chiefs. They are paramedics. They're doctors. They work at the American Embassy abroad. They work for the government. These people are too busy to be dealing with you They would never target you. What are you talking about? That doesn't even make sense. You're stupid. You're silly. You're paranoid. What's wrong with your mind? They will talk about what you told them and say that you're crazy, but they will never spread the word in a productive way to allow people to know that what you're going through is sad and that you need help. They will spread the word only to make you look bad because they think that you're crazy. You know, if you mention anything about chemtrails, they're going to think that you're out of your mind. They will think that you're out of your mind. But anyway, I'm going to end this video here. I'm tired of talking. I'm almost out of breath. But I do ask that you subscribe to my channel because I will be making more videos about my experience here in Beirut, Lebanon. If I leave and go somewhere else, I'm going to continue to make videos because this problem truly does follow me everywhere I go. And I want you to be informed about what things are like abroad in different countries and how they're different depending on what country I'm in. I want to keep you informed because if you're a targeted individual and if you're real and not a spam comment and not someone who's commenting on my video because, you know, you want me to think that I have real visitors when really you're one of the gang stalkers pretending to be gang stalked. I want to help you and I want to tell you about my experiences. I think that when you look at my videos and you want to look forward to what you can get from my channel, you can definitely look forward to me being very thorough in my explanations, and you can look for me to articulate my specific experiences very well so that you can know how to shield yourself whenever you are in a situation where there's uncertainty, or whenever you're in a situation where you don't know what course of action you should take in order to have a productive outcome for navigating unfamiliar waters as a targeted individual. If you leave me a comment, I will try to get back to you, but if I feel that your comment is fake and that you're not really a person who's being stalked and you're a person only who is making me, well, who's pretending to be a legit commenter, I may not respond back to your comment. If I don't and you're real, I do apologize ahead of time, but I have had this channel for almost 2 years, and there are a lot of people who comment on my videos, and they're not real people who are being gang stalked. They're individuals who want to waste my time and ridicule me indirectly by making me think that someone truly is interested in my video when in actuality the only people who are commenting are the people who, you know, the people who are gang stalking me. You'll be surprised at some of the comments that I've gotten on my videos and how they leave a comment, and because they know that the comments are, you know, it's forwarded to my Gmail account, and then they delete it, they know that the viewer on my channel will never see the comments, but I will check my email and I will see the comments that are not visible on my Gmail. So yeah, there are a lot of things that I've said in this video, but this is my introductory video, and I just had to get those things out there because I don't know if I will make videos every day, but I feel that I've presented enough facts for you to be able to get to know a little bit more about me and about my specific experiences as a targeted individual. If you have any questions, you know, I will try to answer them in another video perhaps. It may not be right away, but eventually it will happen. I think that I'm all over the place in my videos so that when I do another video, maybe I'll answer your question, even if you don't leave me a comment. We're in this together, and I wish for your prosperity. And I'm working currently on a blog that I'm designing to tell about my specific experiences as a targeted individual. And the blog is going to be something that I make into a book because I would like to be able to spread my story with the world because not everyone is into YouTube. And if they are into YouTube, I would still like to give them a resource that they're able to take with them wherever they go as an ebook or as a physical book, so that if there's ever a time where they need to refer to one of the chapters in my book so that they have a better idea of what to expect and how to act in an unknown territory, they will be able to do it because I would have outlined my reality in the book. I'm going to tell you many different things. The book will be a very long book. I'm not finished with it, but I'm pretty sure that I have over 60 or 75,000 words at this point. I'm not even halfway finished. The book will eventually be for sale, but I ask that you please subscribe to my channel. You will help me, but you will also help other targeted individuals. The more you see my videos, you will help me, because you will be able to see that not only are there people going through what you're going through, but perhaps my situation is a lot worse. And by me getting more subscribers on this channel, I will be able to advertise my book to more people. I will be able to advertise my blog to more people. And that's very important for me, because when you have a hard copy of a book, it cannot be destroyed. And I feel like I am not in this situation just for myself. I'm in this situation for many other people. And if you know about how all of your computer activity is being monitored as someone who is being targeted, you know that if you have an ebook, the people who are watching your computer and internet activity are able to see when you read my book and what pages you read when you are reading my book. They're able to see the parts you review over and over again, and they're able to see what most likely you like from my book, because you've highlighted it perhaps, or because you read it over and over again, or because you mention it to someone else. And my ebook is designed so that you can have it immediately and on the go, but my paperback book is basically to help people to be able to have to plan their escape, to be able to have a backup plan. Because if you have a paper book, you can read the book at all hours of the night and at all hours of the day, and the people who are targeting you, they will not know when you're reading your book. So it gives you a sense of privacy, and it enables you to be able to go through the book and pick out the necessities that you take with you and the necessities that you share with others. And yes, that's why I'm writing this book. And if you're interested in the book, please leave a comment and let me know that you're interested, because I definitely want you to, I want to know who's interested, and I want to be able to, that would be my encouragement to hurry up and conclude my writing of this book. I've been writing it for over 9 months. I don't write every day. It's very difficult to stay motivated because there are a lot of other things going on as a targeted individual. But though that's the case, I still know that it one day will be finished. And when it is, it will be a masterpiece. Not because I'm so amazing at what I do, but because I have so many unbelievable stories to tell. My goal is to save you and to allow you to get out of your box and to get out of the box in which they have you stuck in, so that you can continue to live your life and live it more fruitfully and fully, and not accept the narrative that they want you to accept. They want you to stay in one environment, not spread your wings, never try to get a job again, and to be easily controlled. But what I want for you is for you not to be easily controlled. I want for you to spread your wings. I want you to take control of your life regardless of how difficult it is. I want you to remember that you are the head and not the tail. You're very capable, and that's the reason why you were targeted to begin with. I want you to remember who you are, and to remember that you need to hold your head up, because no one can hold your head up for you. Hold your head up, because if you were not important, no one would care about you. You wouldn't be targeted. There would not be people watching you 24 hours a day. There would be no need for them to slander your name whenever you go in for a job interview and whenever you try to explore different professional opportunities, because you would do it to yourself if you were such a bad person. Their job would only be to sit back and to watch you do self-destruction. But because you're a very capable person, because you uphold ethics, because you have attention to detail, because you know how to blow the whistle, because you think outside of the box and think for yourself, and you reason like a mature adult should, even though 90% don't, because you do, that's what makes you a threat to the current system that is in place, and that's why they don't want you to succeed. The video is freezing up. I'm going to stop making it right now, but I ask that you subscribe to this channel, and I thank you very much for your dedication to watching this 45-minute video all the way through to the very end. God bless you. Have a great day, a great morning, evening, afternoon, and night.